Hi, it's Alan, and thanks for joining me again for Wait, What? And this one's a little bit different, but this is an old favorite verse of mine that kind of becomes a wait, what in this sense, and that is that I always used to call this my favorite misinterpretation of Scripture, right? Because you read it and it doesn't seem to say what I'm going to tell you it says. But then the wait, what is, I realized over the years that I wasn't misinterpreting it. This is really what it means. Okay, so the verse is 1 Corinthians 10:13, which English Standard Version says, "No temptation has overtaken you except that which is common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability, but with that temptation he will also provide an escape that you may be able to endure it." Okay, now the obvious thing is, and I got this verse first in like a little packet of things they give you when you're a new Christian to help you deal with things, and of course they're worried about you being tempted and being sinful or going back to your old life or something like that, right? And that's fine. I mean, that's certainly there in the verse. But here's what's interesting is that temptation, that word there, actually it means temptation, but it can also mean trial or test or difficulty. Like if you want to test something to see how strong it is, that kind of thing. That's really what's inherent in the verse, right? So what I've been saying for years is that what it's saying is that whatever you come upon, whatever stress, difficulty, hardship in life, especially those things you're going, I don't know if I can handle this, right? What this verse is saying, you can handle it, right? Because if you take it as no testing, no trial has come upon you except that's what's common to everybody. Everybody goes through what you're going through, right? But the key is, it says God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. So what I can tell you right now is look at you straight in the camera and say, whatever you're going through, you can handle it. Now, how do I know that? Because you won't be tested beyond what you can bear. So the way you know you can handle this is you're in it. You see what I mean? If you couldn't handle it, you wouldn't be here, because he wouldn't put you in that situation, right? He might test you. Really you're testing yourself. He might put you in a position where it seems difficult. It seems like all is lost. But what you have to know, and what will help you get through it, is knowing you can. You can get through it. Because if you couldn't, you wouldn't be here. And I'm going to keep repeating that, but repeat that to yourself. I can get through this because I'm here. And I wouldn't be here if I couldn't get through it. Okay? Now, I just want to say a couple more little things about this, because going through it, it's kind of interesting to think. The second part of the verse says, but with the trial, test, temptation, he will provide a way of escape. Escape's probably not the best word there. I know most versions say escape, and the word certainly means that. But here's the thing. Then he goes on to say, will provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. Well, you don't have to endure things you've escaped from. Right? So if you think of this as like an escape hatch, you're in some sort of difficulty, struggle, or maybe you're tempted to do something like Joseph with Potiphar's wife, right? He had a way of escape. He ran out, right? So that's the way I would envision it, except that the word escape there means a little bit more like, it can mean escape, but it can also mean he will provide an outcome, and usually kind of a good outcome is kind of what's implied there, right? An ending to it. So it could be whatever you're being tested with, it will end, right? But I think there's also a sense that it will end well. So I think that's a promise in there too. One, I'm not going to put you through anything you can't handle, and two, just trust me that the outcome will be good, right? That there will be an outcome. It will end, right? And then think about this. If that's the promise, then of course you can endure it. Then the end of the verse, that you may be able to endure it. So just trust me, this will end, it will end well, and I wouldn't put you here if you couldn't handle it. Okay, that's my, quote, misinterpretation of it, but now the more I think about it, no, I think that's what Paul was talking about. I would say one last thing. If you go back and look at the context of the verse, he's actually talking about idolatry. He's talking about all the bad things that the Israelites did in the wilderness, but if you look at each one of them, I don't have time to do this here, but you go look. Everything they did, they resorted to idolatry because things weren't going right. God let them out there to die. They got tempted. There are several different things, and you could look at the differences in how they dealt with each one. right? But they all end in idolatry, which is basically saying, I don't trust God, I'm going to find my own way, because they're going to rely on these idols, these other gods, to get them out of whatever predicament they're in, right? So they're not doing what this verse says. What this is Paul's conclusion of that section, to say he's not going to put you in a situation you can't handle. Trust him. Stay with him. It will end well. And I'm going to leave it there. Whatever you're going through, you can handle it, and it will end well. God bless.